Hi, I'm Theo Compernolle. Let me introduce myself. As a neuropsychiatrist, I developed three domains of expertise. First, since the late 70s, I am interested in the subject of stress, which was the topic of my PhD. Secondly, while coaching executives and executive teams to manage stress in their organizations, I observed the impact on their work of their BlackBerries and later their smartphones. To my surprise, this fantastic technology did not increase their intellectual productivity. On the contrary, it decreased their productivity while increasing their stress. Because they use this great technology without knowing the directions for use of their amazing brains. And finally, during all those years in academia, I translated all this scientific knowledge in simple terms for the public at large and for managers in particular, with my books, coaching and consulting, keynotes and workshops on 3 continents. Now, for today, please look at this video as a trailer, a short trailer for a fascinating story about the directions for use of the human brain. I will try to demonstrate that knowing the basics of this manual of our brain will make your own life and life on the work floor safer. Not just 1%, but much safer. Let me start showing you a headline I read a few years ago. 52 babies died in 2018, left in hot cars in parking lots throughout the United States. Reading this headline, you certainly think, how is this possible? They must be awful parents. That would never happen to me. But you're wrong. It happens to the best of parents, and it happens every single year. It's not so difficult to picture how. Imagine a young mother leaves home with her baby in her arms. She belts the baby safely in its seat and gets in the car to drop the baby at the nursery and then drive to work. This is a routine that she does every day with her reflex brain, which means without really thinking about it. Her thinking brain is still in the home context, feeling grateful to her husband who is taking care of their sick toddler. As soon as she starts driving, her phone rings. Her boss is angry. The meeting with the board is at 10, and I'm waiting for those figures from you. She thinks, God, I forgot. And says, I didn't realize you needed them before the meeting. I'll take care of it as soon as I arrive. If you know the basics of the directions for use of the brain, you understand what happens next. Her body goes into stress mode and her reflex brain into survival mode because she can't afford to lose this new job. At the same time, her think brain switches 100% from the home context to her work context. She nervously tries to get in touch with the people she urgently needs this information from, and she forgets to take the turn to the child center. She arrives at work, parks her car, gets out while still on the phone. She rushes to her office and forgets this precious part that belongs to the home context, her baby. Whether this will be just another anecdote or a drama now only depends on the weather or a watchful passerby. Let's have a closer look at what happened. Each of these causes increases the risk of making a mistake. The combination of the four is a recipe for disaster. The sudden stress and the lack of sleep of a mother of a small baby, of course, increases the risk of making this kind of mistakes. However, the major cause of this kind of very dangerous, if not lethal mistakes, not only at home, but also at work, is always being connected. Always being connected to your mobile. This compels us to multitask continuously, and we do that with a thin brain that has amazing, limitless abilities, but also one fundamental limitation. It can only focus on one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Constantly switching between tasks causes continuous reorientations of our attention with a very significant loss of focus, loss of thinking, loss of understanding, loss of memory, loss of creativity, loss of good social contact, and last but not least, to the detriment of our safety. I will give you just one example that's very relevant for the workplace too. These four questions are not rhetorical ones. Please do answer them now in your mind, or even better, write those four figures down. What is the additional risk of having an accident compared to undistracted driving with your phone in your hand, hands-free, voice commanded, or busy on a touch screen? Write it down. I asked this question to a few hundred safety and plant managers. Nobody knew the right answer. Nobody. Every single one's guess was way too low. Let me give you the answer. So, what do you think now? Surprised with the result of dozens of experiments? By using their phones or touchscreens while driving, hundreds of thousands of professionals, even safety managers, prove every single day that they don't have a clue about how their brain functions and to what extent their behavior puts themselves and others in considerable danger. So let me repeat my point. The conclusion is that not using a phone at all while driving makes you at least 400% safer. And let's not forget the impact of using touchscreens while driving. I think you'll agree it's criminal to text while driving once you know how dangerous it is. Once you know the risk of causing an accident is 23 times higher. But now, let me link this research with safety at work and show you what I have seen in factories and warehouses. I don't think this needs more explanation, and I hope I convinced you that if in your company you eliminate all use of phones and screens for people driving forklifts, trucks, or cars, or while doing difficult, if not dangerous work, their jobs will not be 1% safer, but a few 100% safer. So that was it. I hope my little trailer was inspiring. Just to conclude, let me mention two sources of further inspiration. In Andrew's compilation, you'll find 143 more ideas on safety by 143 other authors. If you want to learn more about the best and safest way to function on the interface between your amazing brain and your fantastic technology, you may want to read my book, Brain Chains, or its concise version, How to Unchain Your Brain. But you also find a lot of free readings on my website at the tab Free Text. So that was it. Take care, be safe, goodbye.